Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are attempting, well, a pretty massive task.
I'd say so.
We're going to try and decode what we've been calling the existential startup sequence.
Right. The first four verses of Yasin Surah Yasin.
Exactly, a chapter that's so often revered as the heart of the Quran.
And this deep dive, it isn't about theology in the traditional sense. It's more about looking at it as a piece of ancient, precise engineering.
An algorithm.
Exactly. We're looking at this integrated framework, a four-part algorithm that seems designed to give a person an unshakable sense of purpose and direction. These verses lay out the core programming for a balanced, purposeful life.
What our sources call the Homo Coranicus. I love that framing.
The ideal, grounded human.
So our mission today is really to decode that algorithm for you, the modern learner, and give you a kind of mental shortcut to finding order in all the chaos. But before we even touch the code itself, we have to understand the environment it came into, the pressure cooker it was revealed in.
Yes, that context is everything.
So what was that historical and psychological environment like in the early Meccan period?
It was, and this isn't an exaggeration, a psychological war zone.
Wow.
These verses came down during an intensely turbulent time in Mecca. The prophet's mission wasn't just being rejected, it was being actively, and I mean viciously, denied. He was facing public ridicule, really intense personal attacks, deep, deep psychological isolation.
And the sources mentioned specific things. They called them, right? Sorcerer, man.
Poet, that he was just making it all up. The pressure on him to doubt himself must have been just immense.
Of course.
The very foundation of his identity, his entire message, was under constant violent assault. And so the purpose of this initial revelation, it had to be monumental.
It had to do a lot of work right away.
It had to do two things immediately. First, provide profound emotional support, what we call teselli, to reassure him. And second, it had to be a divine confirmation, or tasdik, to just settle the argument of his legitimacy with this undeniable, unshakable oath.
So the revelation itself, the very words, needed to be so authoritative, so powerful, that it would just silence all that external noise and solidify his internal conviction.
Precisely. It's an immediate, high-powered divine intervention to reinforce his entire foundation.
That context sets the stage perfectly for the structure. Our source material organizes these four verses into, well, an unbreakable chain of authority, a four-pillar framework.
Yes.
We have command 01, the call, which is Yasin, then command 02, the guide, Quran al-Hakim.
Command 03, the mission, Mursalin, and finally, Command 04, the path, Sirat al-Mustaqim.
Let's start the startup sequence then. Command 001, the divine call, Yasin.
So the very first verse is just two letters, Yas, Sirat, and they seem disconnected. And this falls into a special category called Hurufu Mukata.
The cut letters.
The cut or disconnected letters, yes. They show up at the start of 29 surahs, and their literal precise meaning is, well, it's definitively a divine secret.
A divine secret.
They symbolize the absolute limits of human knowledge. They serve as this profound invitation to intellectual humility, which our sources call teslamiyet.
That's a fascinating way to start such a crucial message, isn't it? To begin with, an admission that we can't, and maybe shouldn't, know everything. But if the goal was teselli, that emotional support in a crisis, why start with something so cryptic?
That's the subtlety of it. The mystery itself is what draws your absolute undivided attention. It's a signal that what is about to come is profoundly important, transcendent. It just filters out all the noise.
Okay, that makes sense.
And while the absolute meaning is a secret, classical sources did provide interpretations. And they were interpretations designed to honor the person receiving the message.
What kind of interpretations?
They ranged from "e insan," which means "O human."
It's so universal.
Highlighting the universality. Yes, it's for everyone. But also things like "e sayyid" or "O master," which emphasizes the prophet's unique, elevated role. It's an immediate honoring and coded address to the recipient's highest potential, the insan kamil.
And that's where the modern analogy becomes so potent for you as a listener. If we're decoding this for today, Yasin is a sacred activation signal.
Yes.
It's like the universe is initiating a sequence and demanding your full attention. It's an admin login, or I love this, an Ilahi ping command.
It's the ultimate attention command, 10B. It's a high-frequency data stream that's demanding you wake up and connect. The deeper psychological message here is, well, it's profound. Stop the sleep of mediocrity. You are not just background noise. You are seen. You are addressed. The communication starts now.
Okay, so the call is personalized. It has my full attention. The next command has to define the nature of the message itself. That brings us to command 02, the system software. Vel Kurinil Hakim.
And this command, it doesn't just start. It starts with the strongest possible rhetorical proof, a divine oath, or qasim. God swears by his own word, by the Quran itself, to establish absolute non-negotiable certainty for what comes next.
Why do that? I mean, why such intense reinforcement? Isn't God's word enough on its own?
In that psychological war zone we were talking about, rhetorical power is, well, it's necessary. This qasam is a powerful tool. It's called pekid. It functions like an ironclad legal document.
Ah, okay.
It's designed to settle the minds of the early believers, eliminate even the slightest shred of doubt, and show the deniers that this declaration is backed by ultimate authority. The oath is the foundation of the proof.
And right there in the middle of that guarantee is the word hakim. We usually hear it translated as wise.
Yeah.
But you're saying that translation just doesn't capture the sheer utility of the word.
It really misses the functional power of it. When our sources break down hakim, they point to 3 key operational characteristics. It's much more than just passive wisdom.
Okay, what are they?
First, it's decisive and judging. It provides clear verdicts. Second, it's flawless and firm, or mukim. It has no internal contradictions, no emptiness, no abes. And third, and this is maybe the most practical one for today, it is place setting.
Place setting. What do you mean by that? How does that work?
It means that the hakim quality puts everything in its right relationship, in its right place. It reveals the consistent underlying cause and effect relationships that actually govern reality. So if the world seems confusing, the hakim provides the objective lens to organize that confusion into a predictable order.
So it's not some dusty old philosophical text. It's living software. It's your bug-free source code.
Exactly right. Linguistically, the term hakim is often used for an intelligent living being like a judge or a master craftsman. So applying it to a book is this subtle personification, teishis, that tells us this text is actively intelligent. It's the operating system for the entire universe.
Let's apply this to you, the learner, today. We're all drowning in information chaos, right? This post-truth era, endless disinformation. We look for guidance on huge life choices, career, family, ethics, and you get 20 conflicting opinions in a second. How does this hakim filter help?
This is where its place-setting feature really shines. If you're struggling with, say, career stagnation, the hakim doesn't tell you which job to take. Instead, it provides the foundational principles, the objective reality that lets you measure any potential path.
Okay.
You can ask, does this path lead to excess, to afret? Does it involve negligence, teferet? Is it built on a contradiction? The hakim offers a stable, consistent measurement, a filter against the chaos of fleeting trends and moral relativism. It reminds you that life, fundamentally, is a cosmos, an ordered system, not chaos.
That makes the hakim the ultimate reference point. So if we have that flawless guide, the next logical question is, who are we and where are we going?
Exactly.
And that's where Commando 3 comes in, confirming identity and mission. Ineke Lemonel Mercelin.
And this verse is the ultimate counterpunch to those Meccan deniers. It is, and this is arguable, but it's arguably the strongest possible affirmation in the entire Arabic language.
Strongest possible.
Just look at the structure. It uses 3 distinct layers of confirmation. First, you have the oath, the qasam, from the verse before. Then immediately you have the particle in, which means surely, and then a second intensifier, the particle li, certainly.
So it's a triple-sealed, ironclad verification.
Yes. It's linguistic architecture. It's designed to just shatter any remaining claim that the prophet was a fraud or a sorcerer. This authority is not self-declared. It is divinely certified and verified.
What's also fascinating is the use of the plural Mercelin messengers.
Oh, that's critical. It instantly places the prophet within this universal historical chain of guidance. It links his mission back through time to Noah, to Moses, to Jesus. This isn't some isolated revolutionary anomaly. It's the continuation of an ancient, ongoing project of guidance for humanity.
So let's project this onto you, the modern learner. Because this idea of being sent or commissioned is a powerful antidote to 2 of the biggest modern psychological problems we face: approval seeking and imposter syndrome.
This is the psychological leverage point of the entire sequence. Modern life, it just conditions us to constantly seek validation. Am I good enough? Is my work good enough? Will they like me? This verse fundamentally shifts the source of your validation.
How so?
The message, when you internalize this sequence, is clear. You are not aimless. You are not bashibush. You were sent here for a definitive purpose, a mission, a risalah.
So if my commission, my risalah, is triple sealed by the highest authority, how does that help me filter out negative self-talk or, my difficult boss, I still have those things.
It creates what we could call divine referenced self-esteem. Your intrinsic value comes not from the shifting sands of external social approval, likes, applause, criticism, but from the fact that you are backed and approved by the ultimate authority. So when doubt hits, the inner response becomes, my value is locked in, I am certified, I am fulfilling the mission I was sent for. It creates an internal lock on your self-worth.
That's incredibly liberating.
It's independent of public opinion.
Okay, so you've defined the guide, Hakim. You've confirmed the mission, Ruslanli. The final piece has to be the application. How do I move while maintaining that high standard? That brings us to Command Zophor, route calibration, ala siratin mustaqim.
This is the practical commitment, and we need to break down the 3 parts here to really appreciate the depth. First, you have Sirat. This isn't just any road, it's the wide main avenue, the clear, designated route.
The freeway of purpose.
The freeway of purpose, exactly. Second, Mustaqim. This describes the road itself. Straight, standing upright, without crookedness, no deviation, no zigzagging. It represents perfect balance, it's a rejection of extremes, it's avoiding ifrat, excess, and tefrit, negligence.
So the main highway, perfectly balanced and stable, but the sources really emphasize the preposition ala, which means upon or over. Why is that placement so vital?
Allah is the difference between searching for the path and standing firmly upon it. It signifies certainty, steadfastness, sabat, and mastery. The prophet, and by extension you, the intentional learner, you are not confusedly wandering in the path. You are securely and masterfully placed upon it. Living by its principles, it's an active state of being.
Which makes this command the ethical anchor that stabilizes the whole mission. This is a complete rejection of the idea that the ends justify the means.
Absolutely. The path itself, the means, must be straight.
It's the ultimate counter to moral relativism. It demands integrity, istiqamet, in every word, every thought, every deed. It connects the wisdom of the guide, the hakim, with the action of the traveler, the mursalin. This 4-part framework really does create a cohesive character. Let's synthesize this. What is the resultant character of the Homo Coranicus, the human forged by this sequence?
Well, when you integrate these 4 commands, the Yasin prototype emerges. Because they are anchored by the Hakim, they are a wise activist. They prioritize vetted, consistent information, and they act decisively. Because they embrace their identity as Mursalin, they are a commissioned missionary. They have this unshakable, purpose-driven self-esteem.
Right.
And finally, because they commit to the Siratul Mustaqim, they are an unswerving traveler, committed to balance, integrity, and focused movement.
What an incredible sequence. We started with the essential call, Yasin. That immediately downloads the non-negotiable guide, the Hakim, which then confirms your personal mission, Mursalin, and finally commits you to the straight path, Mustaqim. It integrates you into a system of cosmic order.
And this sequence, it's meant to be internalized. It's meant to become your default setting. Our sources suggest using this framework as an internal affirmation set. It's a code you can engrave on your mind to recalibrate whenever life throws chaos at you.
Let's give that affirmation set to you, the listener, as we wrap up this deep dive.
Internalize this. I, by the divine call, Yasin, am equipped with the wise universal laws, Quran al-Hakim, sent to this world for a purpose, Min al-Mursalin, and am a traveler on a balanced and focused path, Siratul Mustaqim. Use that code. Use it to reset your perspective and check your alignment.
That is incredibly powerful. Before we close, we want to leave you with a final thought, a challenge that really builds on the ontological question embedded in these sources.
This is a challenge to reevaluate your life's ultimate foundation. Ask yourself this. If you were to remove your current beliefs, your principles, if you didn't have the Quran or any consistent moral code to guide you, what objective, universal reality or source would you use to prove that your life is currently on the straight path?
What would be your ultimate, unwavering, non-relative reference point?
What are you swearing by? What is the ultimate stable foundation for the biggest choices you make?
A lot to think about. Thank you for diving deep with us. We will see you next time.